do is they send children deep into mines in Africa to extract a certain ingredient.
Nice.
But then they don't let them leave the mine.
And then they become the secret ingredient.
There's a grinder inside of it.
Nice. Welcome to the Music Period Podcast, brought to you by us.
Couple of guys.
And you're going to listen.
Yeah.
A couple legacy albums today.
Yes.
We're on a wheel right now. We're hamster wheeling.
Wheeling.
We're fucking going.
Riding a wheelie.
We're gonna do this.
We're gonna do an endo soon.
Music Period Podcast.
Yes.
Brought to you by Boot Camp Media.
That's the one.
We're on YouTube. We're on all the shit.
This week, we have for you an album that I picked.
Okay.
Let's just dive right into it.
How do you pronounce the name?
SikTh.
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 SikTh. SikTh.
SikTh. This album, let me set the scene a little bit.
Yes, please do that.
So this album, it's 2005.
Okay.
Metal is kind of boring. We're also, home studios are kind of on the rise.
Who's big in the metal world in 2005 right now? Like, who is the...
Hatebreed.
Okay.
It's like, so it's one of the major components of this too is MySpace.
Okay.
Music is starting to become, you can promote yourself.
All
right. So there's like the major players in the regular industry where, you know, you have to get a record deal and get signed, and then sometimes it's just a band they cook up in a boardroom or whatever it may be. But this is the era where people are really starting to dive into, I want to do it all myself.
Right.
And build my own fan base because I don't need somebody to take all the profits from me while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So MySpace is really letting, and I only know this from experience, I'm sure it was like this for all genres, but for like metal specifically, it really thrived with this.
Okay.
And a lot of different subgenres branched off and became kind of popular. There are a couple of bands that really made it out, like Bring Me the Horizon. They were a really big MySpace band.
Okay.
Five Finger Death Punch.
They were a MySpace?
They were a MySpace band. And then things started to get a little bit more progressive, a little bit more technical. People cared less about like how catchy is your tune and wanted to like not compromise what they were doing with their songwriting. And so you started to see bands like Periphery, bands like The Faceless, bands like pretty much the entire Sumerian Records lineup where it's like kind of technical, and then like very rhythmic chugging patterns and like odd time signatures, and people are getting experimental with it, really care about their tone. Songs are 8 minutes long. It's like things are branching off.
Okay. So this is where that started?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And these guys, they're from the UK.
All right.
The guitar player recorded, wrote, produced this entire album and their first album by himself. He obviously didn't write and perform all the vocals and all that, but like he pretty much composed the entire album and also engineered it, released it. It went relatively unnoticed, and then about a year or two after they put this album out, they broke up. Fast forward to maybe 2015, 2016, like prog and gent style metal is very popular. You see like a huge fan base of people really understanding now that Meshuggah, you ever heard of them?
You've talked about them a bunch.
They're like, the joke is what Meshuggah was doing 10 years ago is what's popular right now.
Okay.
And so you see a big influx of people kind of recognizing that, and really the fan base is really growing. People are more into the progressive style, less straightforward, less gain on the guitars, more so about like songwriting and creativity and a unique approach. And people go back and they discover this thing, doing it at a very high level, well before a lot of other bands really recognized that this was what was going to happen next.
Right.
So this thing kind of turned into a well before its time, underappreciated relic.
Okay.
And then they recently, a couple years ago, they got back together and they made another album. They're wildly successful again. But it's funny because when they did this album that like put them on the map was the one that killed the band.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So what is the album name?
Album name is Death of a Dead Day.
Death of a Dead Day.
Yep. And this thing is not like, you know, lyrical stuff is not the focus of this style of metal.
No.
It's pretty much the vocals are used as just another instrument. And then if you do read along with it and you happen to like find some meaning in it that is like powerful to you, it's just an added cherry on top.
Yeah.
It's more so it's hard to not relate it to hip hop, the style of metal, because it's so rhythmic.
What is this?
So
metalcore?
You can call it metalcore, gent. It's really just like progressive metal.
Okay.
But yeah, metalcore is an easy.
Because that's what like Periphery is, right?
Yeah, they're gent.
See, this is where metal loses me.
All the subgenres.
There's too many subgenres.
Yep.
I'm not alone in there.
Everybody agrees with you.
Then what the fuck?
I know.
See, okay, so it's good that we're doing a metal album finally.
Yeah.
Because this, like, you talk about hip hop being out of your element. Metal is so far out of my element because I do not understand. It's because fucking people.
Well, it's because there's no rules. There's no.
But
fucking
you guys
rules.
act like there's rules for everything.
Right, and like people like to put things in boxes because it's easier for them to understand it when it's in the box.
Yeah, but your music is so outside of the box.
I know,
you
it's
would
crazy.
Think that you would be, and I'm saying you because you're the person in front
I'm
of
the
me
representative.
Right now. I have never,
I'm the elected official,
ever met more of a music snob than metalheads.
I know.
It's
it's offensive. It's crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, they're the most pig-headed.
And you are not in that because you'll fucking listen to Taylor Swift. You'll listen to anything.
I didn't start with metal.
Yeah.
I think that's the big difference for a lot of people is they get onto like their metal path early in life. Okay. And then it's just bashed into their fucking head like rap is crap, country sucks, fucking this and that. But when you get into it later, you start to realize that the things that are cool about metal, when you find a band that's actually really talented, is that they incorporate aspects of all music into their compositions.
Yeah.
And so you start to realize it's almost the easiest like parallel to draw to the prog metal, like this style of metal that I listen to or that I'll show you every now and again.
Yeah.
The easiest parallel is classical. There's no boundary as to what you can do and have it not sound like the thing. So like if you're a country musician and you want to put a fucking mathcore breakdown and crazy, you can't put that in your song. It changes it from
you're
country to something else. Right. Metal doesn't have that. Metal, you can stop what you're doing, do a fucking hoedown in the middle of it, and it's still metal. That's the weird thing about it, is that there's no rules about. It's just, does this sound cool right now? That's all we care about.
So it's okay, all right. It's just weird though, and I know that's an extreme example, putting a hoedown or whatever. But I know at least a handful of metalheads to where that would be like, oh, well, these guys are dead to me now.
Yeah. I mean, there's a whole blog out there that's pretty popular. It's called No Clean Singing.
Yeah.
And so like you can kind of, if you pull back really far and zoom out, there's two different types of metal fan. There's I love how experimental and how all-encompassing metal is. And then there's the guys that are like, I like Pantera, I like Judas Priest, and I like it because it's heavy.
Yeah.
And I don't really know why I like it, but when I get angry, I want to punch somebody and go in the pit.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What do you consider Avenged Sevenfold?
In my brain,
metal.
They would be metal.
They sing. It's cool, right?
Yes, I am a fan of them.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
There are people out there that
they're not even accepted in the metal.
I know,
world,
it's crazy. Like for a long time,
since
they
the
were like
Rev
a
died,
hidden.
They're kind of whatever, but
for a long time, they were like a guilty pleasure that I didn't feel comfortable talking about.
I have played them. I share an office with a metalhead. I've played them before, and he got disgusted. He had to leave.
Yep.
I was like, why?
It's almost like the people who really like avant-garde jazz. They think they're so cool and different.
See, when you said classical, I almost thought of jazz.
Yeah.
Now I know you're just making a different kind of example, but it does seem like it just kind of goes anywhere. Are there any metal jazz bands that just fucking go off?
Yep.
I bet it's pretty cool.
It's so cool.
Because okay, let me get this out of the way right now.
Yeah.
I did not really enjoy this album.
Understand it.
But I can respect the hell out of the people playing the instruments.
Right.
Like, it's insane.
And that's like, so that's what pulls in the largest amount of people the quickest is the technical capability of these bands.
Yeah.
Then once you start to like, you build your comprehension on like deciphering what's actually being played. And like, this is going to sound ridiculous and stupid, but like you start to hear it differently.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I ever heard like Lamb of God when I was like a freshman in high school, and I couldn't, there wasn't a melody.
Right.
It was just distorted, a wall of distortion and then fast drums. And I was like, why do you like listening to this?
Yeah.
And then I hear it now, and I hear it written, I hear the music so prominently in it that it's almost like it seems incomprehensible that I wouldn't be able to pull that out of it.
It almost seems like you need to play.
Kind of.
You need to be a player to appreciate it. But again, I really do want to stress that musically, I like this album.
Yep. This album musically is like, so it's very experimental for the time.
Okay.
Also,
yeah, I wouldn't have guessed 2005 at all.
So ambitious of them.
Yeah.
To go do this on their own. This is very high level composition shit. There are points on this album where I don't really understand the music theory behind how there's melody. Yeah. And I'm listening to it. I'm like, did these guys study music? Is this like such a high level of composition that I don't understand these chord structures and shit? Like, how do you achieve this?
Crazy.
It's very strange. But yeah, so that's a little bit of background on these guys.
Okay.
And this album.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So, yeah, musically, I like it.
Okay.
Just get right out what I struggled with, and you told me I was going to.
Vocals.
The vocals.
Yeah.
I really struggled with the vocals.
Two singers, which is fine. And at some points, they sound great. They really do. At some points, I was like, oh, wow. Okay. All right. Yep.
And then there were some points where I was like, this is Sam's fuck with me. He's fucking with me.
Yeah.
Because I got to be honest, man.
where they're like, oh,
Well, there's
like
times where that one singer sounds like the lead singer for Korn.
Yeah. And it sounds like he's trying to impersonate an old man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
And I got to be honest, some of the lyrics, I read them.
Yeah, I did too.
I read the lyrics.
I actually read through.
They're pretty good. They're not bad.
Not bad.
Some of them are corny as fuck.
So corny.
Like, what the
So
fuck
corny.
is going
And so
on there?
I just want to stress again, most of the time, people don't even, that's the first time I've ever read the lyrics.
Okay.
And some of the lyrics were not what I thought they were. And I thought they were a thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he's saying other things completely.
I couldn't believe it.
I didn't get any of those words right.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes I'm following along, and this happens a lot in metal. You're reading the lyric sheet and you get lost.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think did you say all that?
All right. I'm glad that I wasn't alone there because I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Yeah, they take some liberties with.
I'll tell you what, though. I pulled out a line in the first song.
Okay.
Bland Street Bloom.
Yep.
Which, okay.
That was like the single.
Yeah, all right. Bitter as a cold brew pint of piss. And I was like, well, that sums up everything perfectly. Because that's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a bitter taste when I'm listening to it.
Yeah, it's
not
jarring.
always bad.
It's crazy because it flows in and out of these soundscapes where it's like, this is all very sharp and jarring and strange.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, seamlessly, before you know it, you're in a part that's catchy.
Yeah, you're in a world of wonders, man-made mechanical thunders.
And what is it?
It's very melodic.
Down.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he's fucking tapping this weird thing in the background. So
Yeah.
it's like, how do you write this?
Yeah. It's unlike anything I've really
Very
paid attention to.
Weird.
Dug in. I know you were worried because I said I didn't have great notes, but I fucking listened to this thing. And I did not hate it.
Okay.
I just...
And you're allowed to because I get it because this is weird.
It's
different. It's very unique.
Yeah. So that song, I couldn't figure out. I think I said this before when we talked about it off air. I couldn't figure out who it was for.
Yeah.
Who are these people talking to? And what lessons? Because they're trying to. There's parts where they're trying to teach
preachy
lessons and preachy and shit.
Yeah. So I went into this with my own kind of preconceived thoughts of what the themes were.
Yeah.
And then as I read the lyrics, I realized that I was projecting so much into it.
Is good for music. That's what you're supposed to do, right? I don't know.
But then
I'm trying to find some shit here.
So this, So this song, I see the cover. Did you look at the cover art at all? It's like a weird city. It's like looks like it's well dilapidated.
Right.
And,
Looks like the cover of Oblivion song.
yeah. So
Comic book.
I wrote frantic, paranoid, manic, fever dream description of a post-human setting. Okay. So like they're introducing the setting, the lay of the land, and it's manic. It's the guitar riffs ping pong, the drums go from one ear to the next, and it's almost like it's letting you know that like some fucking weird, crazy shit bad. It's not good, and the whole world, there's no people anymore. And all of a sudden, robots and industry and it's just like these really big themes that they're pumping into one track. Okay. And it probably feels like a lot to a listener.
As a uneducated person, as far as metal goes, yeah. And I feel inferior, to be honest with you, because this is what you were trying to give me to like ease me in.
I know.
This is like a bridge.
I know.
And I don't feel like it went completely over my head. I do not.
Yeah.
I almost feel like a couple more listens would maybe get me there, you know?
Yep. And the only reason I thought that this would be a palatable experience is because I know that when I heard it, I wasn't really that deep into like heavy stuff. Yeah. And so because every song has a part that's catchy, where everything comes together and resolves, and it builds to this big catchy part. Right. It's probably not the entire song. It might not even be the chorus. It might just be a bridge. But those moments are the ones that I went, oh, this is interesting. I want to hear that again. And then on the road to listening to that part again, I started to understand the parts around it. Okay. So that's how I got there. Yeah. But
my journey through this album was a little different than anything we've ever done. Yeah. Like first couple of times I listened to just in the car. Yep. And it kind of all blurred together for me. Yep. And then when I got here this morning, I pressed play and I just read the lyrics. Yeah. And I'll be honest, I didn't enjoy that very much.
I didn't either.
At all.
That's not what metal's about.
No. I found myself going, when is this over? Yeah. Then I listened again, just it playing, and I was like, okay, I don't dislike this as much as I thought.
This is not like an intrinsically, profound experience of an album. This is like, it's a cool approach, and it's interesting enough to pull your attention in and make you appreciate that, like, okay, you can achieve this by going down a different road. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. It made me really kind of appreciate the fact that there are some metal musicians out there that aren't just like blockheads.
Yeah, and I hate to, as an outsider looking in, metalheads
suck.
They kind of suck.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are unlike any metalhead I've ever met.
Yeah, and it sucks because a lot of those same people are like super cool, but then as soon as you say like, "Oh man, did you hear the Foo Fighters?" and they're like, "Foo Fighters, dude, that shit sucks."
Exactly. It's like, whoa, chill the fuck out.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. Yeah. People are very.
This is a very general. It's weird to me. Metal is so angry. It's so angry. Mm-hmm. It like borderlines corny sometimes how angry it is. Yeah. Like fucking Tales from the Crypt and fucking horror and
gore and like, fucking burning churches.
What is the appeal of that?
Right. And like once you get past that stuff and realize that like not everybody takes themselves so seriously. Yeah. And like people just write abstractly about themes. Yeah. And there's not so much pressure on the performer to be like, we're cult, we're black metal, we're fucking evil. Yeah. You can appreciate, because like that aggression that goes into making it sound angry is like it's a lot of energy. And so when you get into that mindset of like, you take the anger out of it, you're taking that energy in, it like hypes me up, gets me excited, gets me feeling hyper. I want to play air guitar, and I'm happy. Yeah. And I've always tried to, people talk about like, oh, why do you listen to the metal? It's such an angry style of music. You're such a happy guy. And I'm like, I guess it's all about perception.
Yeah.
Because
Well, it's weird because most metalheads are like the nicest people you'll meet.
Right. Yeah.
It's so strange how that works.
It makes
out.
them so happy when they listen to it because there's so much energy in that. You know what I mean? It's like, I get it for sure. And I don't know exactly what it is that makes it different, but like for some reason, when my body processes what's going into it, it comes out positive.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's strange.
It's weird. Sometimes I think of a metalhead and I go, "Oh, you're wearing a costume.
Yeah.
You're wearing a fucking costume.
Nice boots.
Yeah.
Do they need the 47 buckles on them though?
Right. When you're alone in your car, you're listening to Bieber.
There are moments, absolutely.
I'm talking about in general.
Yeah,
like those motherfuckers are hiding something.
That person is so repressed.
Yeah,
it's like, just be you, dude. You don't have to be the character of you.
And that's just me being ignorant to the fact that
You're right.
it's just not my. It's not my thing.
Yeah,
it's not my thing.
Yeah,
but I hope that this doesn't deter you from doing another metal album.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep trying.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna find the one that you go, you know, I didn't like it when I first heard it.
Yeah.
I think I kind of love it
Yeah.
at the end of it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep looking.
I'll get there.
And it's, you know, there's gonna be some fucking bumps along the way.
Yeah.
Like this one.
It's a little bit of a bump.
So that was the first track.
Yeah.
Second track, Flogging the Horses. This is my least favorite one.
Okay. I didn't even find a note to write.
Yeah. So the song kind of picks up around 2 minutes in. Some big chords ring out and some fucking guitar sound like fucking machinery and shit is like whipping by your head. But it ends on like, we fall into the same old shoe. And there's like these weird wind noises in the background.
Yeah.
And they're really trying to paint a picture, which I appreciate, but it's just a little heavy-handed.
A little much.
Yeah. Third track is called Way Beyond the Old Fond River. So this is like another great example for the guitar geeks out there and the music geeks of like really inventive songwriting through like imaginative guitar techniques.
Okay.
Some of the shit that he's doing, I would never think to do it.
Right.
There are parts when it sounds like he's playing almost like a percussive instrument rather than a guitar. Cause like there's a melody and there is a note, but it's like not the sound your guitar is supposed to make.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then they build all the things around it to make that sound have a note.
Yeah.
And then it carries the melody.
Weird.
It's a very weird way to approach songwriting.
That might have been my favorite song on this album.
Yeah, it's a really cool song.
I liked it.
It
It like flowed. It seemed a little.
It's groovy.
It was groovy, yeah,
song.
and it was more like accessible.
Yeah.
To my ear.
Yeah, this one I wrote. It goes from chaos to inspired melody and groove seamlessly. You don't even realize that you're at a part that's hectic, and then all of a sudden everything resolves together, and there's clean vocals, and the melody is nice, and it just makes sense again.
Right.
And then before you know it, it all just like water falls apart back to what it was. It's strange. They're really good at that.
Yeah.
Slowly transitioning from chaos to resolution and then back again.
That was cool.
So 4 and 5 are the 1-2 punch on this record for me. They're my favorite 2 tracks.
Okay.
Summer Rain. Did you like that one?
No.
Okay.
Sorry. That's where I first heard Korn.
Okay.
And I was like immediately turned off.
Yeah.
Maybe if I
see
listened
that.
again.
I see that.
What's the guy's name? Jonathan Davis?
Yeah.
Yeah, he sounds like him.
He kind of looks like him too, except they both have red hair.
It's fucking him.
They have long red dreadlocks.
This is Jonathan Davis.
And
You like Korn.
Maybe.
You're freaking a leash.
Yeah, I don't know, man. This thing, Summer Rain, it's got really good rhythms.
I did write, sorry, Korn, but harder. Like they're not as like weak as
Hard ass
Korn.
dick corn.
Yeah.
Dick corn.
Yeah. Sorry. That was pointless.
My dick's got a corn on it.
I don't know why I'm trying to be nice. I didn't like it.
Yeah, it's fine. Let's see. I had some notes on here. The bass notes in the pre-chorus where it turns into 16th notes. I like that part a lot. Gets my dick real hard. And then the solo is really good. And then I don't know. This one it was accessible. It
We're
seems
still on
almost
Summer Rain.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then when it kicks into In This Light, that's my favorite track.
Okay.
I think because they work together so well.
All right.
It brings the emotions and the energy down and lets you you can accept
So
it.
you like the cleaner ones?
Yeah.
Because In the Light was cleaner.
I love the clean ones.
All right.
His vocals when he's singing are powerful.
Okay.
He's an incredible singer.
It's funny because I wrote, okay, clean singing. Not better, but more comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, it's accessible.
It's a little bit more traditional. And I was almost disappointed at how traditional it was.
Yep. I get that because they've already set the bar at such a crazy speed,
Right.
I can see that for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of bands do this though. Like there's a band called the Dillinger Escape Plan.
Oh, I've heard them.
Every album is like, say it's 10 tracks. 3 of them sound like they could be a 9 Inch Nails single. Mm-hmm. The other 7 are complete and utter nonsense. They don't make any sense.
Right.
Yeah.
You played me a song for that. Those were years ago. This was
Yeah.
before we even were like friends.
Really?
Yeah, you sent me a song by them, and it is so like it's not even like a heavy song, but when the chorus kicks in, holy shit! It was so loud.
They're fucking really, really good live. One of the best live shows I've ever seen. They go absolutely fucking nutty on stage.
Yeah.
They destroy their gear like every show. He jumps like from rafters or 20 feet up into the audience and shit.
Right.
The guitar player, there's a picture of him. It's like a famous picture. He's hanging from his knees on a water pipe in the ceiling, and he's playing guitar upside down above the audience. How did you get up there, dude? With your guitar on? Like, what the fuck happened?
One of Us is the Killer.
Oh yeah, dude. That's my favorite album from them.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it must be track 3 on that album.
Yeah. I love that one.
It's such a crazy song.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So I put them in the same realm as this, where like genres are kind of out the window. It's just aggressive.
All right.
There's a blanket of fucking distortion over it. People, you gotta call it something. Call it metal. Yeah. In this light, the cymbal play at the beginning and the vocal layers lay me down and fucking haunt me to sleep. They fucking so nice.
Yeah.
The parts all flow again, but I think the parts all flow so well because the drummer specifically transitions everything nicely.
Yeah.
It's not a harsh fucking. You can't tell when the riff ends and the next part begins.
Yeah.
And I think it's because the drummer does fills so like water.
He must have 12 arms.
It's something like that, dude.
6 legs.
It seems like he's fucking playing. How many cymbals have they made in history? It seems like he's playing all of them.
It's nutty.
Yeah.
He's fucking Animal from the Muppets.
Yeah, as I like started to try and figure out what was so good about the transitions, I was like, I think it's the drummer.
Yeah.
Unsung hero. Track 6, Sanguine Seas of Bigotry. Mm-hmm. This is another one where I don't really like this one that much.
It's like, all right, it's back.
Yeah.
And it's too much for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mermaid Slur, number 7.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. So those like blockhead metalheads that we were talking about before? Show me a band out there of metalheads that are so comfortable with sharing their creative process that they'll let their double vocalists do slam poetry for an entire track with nothing else.
It was, yeah.
I don't like it.
It was,
but I appreciate that the other guys in the band were like, do your fucking thing, man.
Yeah.
And then they play off each other, they bounce and shit. It's real cheesy, but like, they did it, and they didn't fucking care at all. There's something to say about that.
They probably should have cared.
I mean, have a little shame, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
But I could do without that.
That was odd.
It's almost, it's
like, oh, yeah. That now you saying, oh, yeah, they made it themselves. Yeah, they sure did.
Yeah, no one was giving them any input. That's clear. Track 8, When the Moment's Gone. Mm-hmm. The guitar harmony in the first riff is really strange. It doesn't follow, like usually when you double track a guitar, you do like thirds or fifths for all the notes. This is an example of when they didn't have a recurring spacing. It would be like a third for this note, a fourth for this note, and it just very weird approach to doing it.
And when that track first hit, it almost sounded like a Billy Idol song.
Yeah.
Like for like a moment, and then Jonathan Davis came in and sang over it.
Hey, if he's having fun out there with his new band, you shouldn't hate him for leaving Korn, dude.
I mean, look, dude.
I think these guys are better.
Okay.
His vocals are just as good as they ever were.
You can go go with that. It's funny when you first approached me with this album, and you said that you likened them to Coheed and Cambria, and like their vocal, how it can be off-putting or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you said that like Periphery was like heavily influenced by him and stuff, and
you're picturing something else completely.
I don't hear it.
Yeah. This is like...
I mean, I guess I get the Coheed thing with the
voice.
So,
think about, like... Remember with that Hum album that we reviewed?
Yeah.
And we talked about how, like, there would be no Deftones White Pony without that album.
Yeah.
They don't sound similar, but it was a bridge to get them there.
Yeah.
That's like this in Periphery.
I get that now,
yeah,
with some of the stuff you've explained.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. This is how little... vocals really hit me for metal.
Yeah.
Is that when I was telling you, I believed the fact that there was a lot of clean singing, and then when I actually listened to it again, I was like, there's really not that much clean singing on this thing.
Right. So metal really is a lot like hip hop for you.
Yeah.
Where the vocals don't really matter that much.
And
it's
so,
just another instrument.
And that's why I never really got super into hip hop, is because that's a key element of that genre of music is the whole wordplay aspect of it, the storytelling.
Yeah.
That's not a prominent thing in metal.
No.
And it doesn't need to be.
Right.
The music does all the coloring, all the emotion, all that is fed through the like progression and the melody.
Right.
Completely. Mm-hmm. And even the way you play it. But with hip hop, without that, there's nothing.
Right.
So that's why I have such a, when I listen to, I have to change the way I listen to certain types of music.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to do.
I get that. I struggled with this one.
Yeah.
Like I never really got to that point.
Yeah.
Where
you're just enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, I mean, there's a certain amount. It's not overpowering, but there's a certain amount of pressure when I know that I have to come on here and talk about it. So yeah, I think that's where the non-enjoyment came from.
Right.
Like,
which is
I need to know what to say about this.
Yeah, right. And that's kind of one of the hard things about reviewing this style of metal is that there's really not a whole lot of substance to talk about. It's mostly technical, nerdy shit.
Yeah.
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 And so like I'm gonna find that album that mixes the two together. Okay. I've reached out to a bunch of friends of mine, and anybody out there that has a good idea about like what a good album is that mixes the like fun enjoyment of listening to the high energy of this style of aggressive music mixed with like really solid vocal play.
Yeah.
If you can think about that, I'd say email, but Dave would probably read it, and that wouldn't be fun to show it to him.
Yeah.
Just like come find us.
Put your phone number out there.
I'm gonna figure it out. We'll find it.
All right.
Track 10. Where do we fall? This
skipped
one
over part of the friction.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, so these two together, I like these ones as a pair.
Yeah.
I starred these ones, which means standout tracks for me.
Yeah. I don't have a lot of notes for the rest of this, but I will say that this part of the album I somewhat enjoyed.
Yeah.
And it was from this last listen.
Yeah.
Where it was just playing and I was working, and it was fine.
It's weird because these two tracks for me are two of the most traditionally structured, where there's like a catchy chorus.
Yeah.
And it's easily decipherable.
Am I a Smooth Brand music fan?
We'll get you there, bud.
Yeah.
It'll be all right.
All right.
But it's weird because they put it at the back half.
Yeah.
Which is like the opposite of what the staple of the industry is. You put your catchy shit up front.
Well, again, they did it themselves.
Clearly. When do we fall? The vocals on this thing, I love the vocals on this one. The last line of the chorus is left falling down again because this feeling wasn't there, but I'd leave it all to estrange us from this place I've come to know. I don't know what he means by that, but the way he sings it, he projects it so hard, it makes me feel something.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, I don't know what the feeling is. I'm not pinpointing it because, once again, I'm not really looking to get emotional over metal music. I was
going to say, it's like a rare moment in the album where you actually...
It's powerful.
Yeah.
Everything crescendos and the melody fucking peaks and your dick is all hard and shit. It's fucking dope.
It's just weird because the whole album is power.
Yeah.
It's just fucking power.
Not a whole lot of valleys to the peaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just straight punches to the face. The whole Maybe not this necessarily,
Right.
because there is some moments of that clean singing melodic type
Sure.
stuff. But anytime I listen to metal and the metal parts of this album particularly, it's just constant fucking noise in my head.
Yeah. It can be
hard
tiring
to
if you're not
decipher.
used to it.
Right.
Yeah, it can be tiring because your brain's going, I have no choice. I have to process all this fucking information, dude.
I'm trying.
You
And I
can't-
was like trying to, and I don't think that that's how you're supposed to listen to this.
Maybe that's what it is. Your brain gets so like it gets used to it and it goes, I fucking don't give a shit anymore. Just let it play.
Like, I honestly, you could play a song right now, and I wouldn't be able to know what one it was.
Yeah.
Like, I have all the songs right here,
Right.
unless it was, like, you know, a couple of them.
Yeah.
But for the most part,
And
this
like-
was all one big song.
And that's, it's another parallel for me with classical. Like, I love classical music, but I can't tell you the titles of the fucking compositions. There are specific ones from Chopin that I love.
Yeah.
But every time I go back and listen to it, I gotta find them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Number 11 and number 12, the last two tracks on the album, unfortunately, doesn't end on a really high note for me. There's some cool experimental patterns and rhythms on number 11, Another Sinking Ship. It's a really challenging pattern. It doesn't repeat a lot.
Yeah.
Hard to decipher when you're listening
I'm
to
going to
it.
go out on a limb and say all of these are complicated.
I feel like this one was challenging to the point where it's probably the most fun for them to play live because they go,
This.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that feeling when you
I can
accomplish
see
it's
that.
really cool.
Yep.
Then it ends with As the Earth Spins Round. The way they recycle, there's a riff in the beginning that's kind of like a sour note riff where like it's not very melodic. It's supposed to kind of be off-putting and kind of sharp. And then they recycle that riff at the end, and all of the instruments around that guitar riff conform to it to make it melodic again. And then they do a really, really epic as fuck guitar solo over it, and it's just a really cool like recycling technique where like this is the same riff, but the song has evolved so far that now it sounds completely different at the end of the track.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I feel like this album, the way this album ends is almost like, it's like so you're Robin Williams in Jumanji,
Okay.
and after your whole life in this jungle, someone finally opens the game up and you're at the end and you're getting ready the game's going to be over, and you finish the game and then the game just sucks you back into its jungle wormhole, and it's like you don't ever leave. This is how it is.
All right.
It's like, no, it's not done. We just
Right.
start over forever until everyone you love is dead.
All right. When it ended,
You're happy.
That's why I went for a little bit before this. Sam and I were discussing.
I'm always disgusting.
Jesus Christ, we were discussing, and I said that I didn't have great notes, and you said, let's just do the other one. And I was like, let's get this done.
Yeah.
Let's get it
Let's
done.
fucking bookend this thing.
I don't think, barring a couple, randoms, that I'll ever hate something you give me.
Yeah.
Like full-fledged fucking hate. Fuck this. I'm not listening to this. I
Right.
don't think that'll happen. I will always find some positives, even if you do fuck with me.
Yeah.
And give me an album. I will find something positive
Same here.
out of it. And technically, this music and the people playing this is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible. Like, I don't know what they're doing, but I can tell that it's insane.
And the kicker is you would never choose to listen to it if it weren't for this
And I would
experiment.
never, ever listen to this album again.
Yeah.
And I apologize,
You don't have to.
but it's not for me.
It's not a big deal. It's just you're wrong. That's all.
It's fine. I'm right. I wanted to like it.
I like this though because this is now a challenge for me, and I'm gonna be very fucking
No,
honed in on my next
well,
pick.
you need to strive to be like me, because my first.
Is this one that's also on everyone else's top 10 list?
Okay. All right. Okay. No, good point. Illmatic is like a classic. That's a good point.
But also, you recognize that I hadn't ever gave it a shot.
Right.
And you were understated about it enough, knowing me, that if you were too heavy-handed, I'd say, fuck you, I'm not listening to it.
Yeah. I mean, all I did was say it's my favorite hip-hop album of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
this is a Celeste pizza.
Yeah.
We haven't done that in a while.
I know, dude. Yeah, this is like a pizza shop that you saw a great review for it online, but it's like not open anymore.
Yeah, I was kidding, by the way. This isn't a Celeste pizza. It's so much more than a microwave pizza. It really is.
Hey.
It's just a pizza that I ate.
Mm-hmm. But this is cool because I've never actually had like a 40-minute conversation about an album that I like.
Yeah.
With someone who didn't really like it.
Right.
Where we actually talked about it.
Yeah.
Outside of just, I wasn't into it.
Yeah. I mean, believe me, I thought that's what this episode was going to be.
Me too.
But it really is just, it's not as simple as that. It's not as simple as, oh, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
There's more to it.
Yeah.
Because I can appreciate what they're doing. Yeah. And knowing the backstory of them doing this on their own, that's fucking incredible, dude.
And like now the guitar player is like a pretty accomplished producer because people recognize that he had a lot of these techniques and a lot of these sounds and shit. They're really experimental well before people ever established like a routine way to accomplish them.
Right.
So he was able to do it on his own before it was even recognized by like anybody.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So he's got a pretty good, just natural understanding of how sound works.
Because this is the second time you've given me an album where they were like pioneers in a certain way. But hearing it 15 years later, they don't sound like pioneers to new ears.
Right.
To new ears.
Yep.
I don't listen to metal a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like I heard some of this before.
Yeah.
Not knowing that these guys are the reason why I fucking hear it. And there's obviously a ton of respect that goes with that.
Yeah.
100%.
And it's funny because there's probably a lot of even friends I have that are metalheads that would look at this, they hear this album and go, stupid.
Really?
Hmm?
Okay.
Because
so you're wrong. We're all right.
Yeah, I mean, it's all a matter of perspective. But
yeah, what is this album? How is this album viewed in like the metal community?
So still, I mean, outside of like the fans who appreciate this like this modern version of what progressive metal sounds like, and what virtuoso like guitar playing is, and outside of that, unrecognized in that culture, in that community. So highly praised that like, you would be, if you went to like a show for Periphery and you polled the audience, I would say 80% of them love this thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I do want to stress this shouldn't sway you from giving me more. You'll find it. You'll find it. And now I need to find a hip hop album that isn't so renowned.
Yep.
That I like. To see if I can get you.
See if I can be a smooth brain.
It's weird though, and I don't know if this is the same. There's a lot of parallels between hip hop and metal. Is what we're finding. They're loose parallels, but they're there. I go back and I listen to some hip hop that I really enjoyed when I was younger.
Yeah.
I can't get into it anymore.
You've evolved.
Is there a lot of is that like that in metal?
Yeah, there's like it's like a roadmap, You slowly transition into it, and like what you like. There's aspects of it along the way the entire time, but it's more so like accessible versions of it here where like pieces are dusted on top, and then those become the main focus of what you actually like. If I were to listen to the shit that I was really into like my freshman year of high school, sophomore year of high school, I'd be like, this is so fucking cheesy, dude. Like cool power chords, bro. Real lame.
Yeah. I mean, dude, when I was pretty young, like Lil Wayne, Young, Cash Money, like the destroyers of hip hop. Like I go back and listen to that now. I'm like, this is just straight garbage.
Yeah, dude.
There's a lot of Jay-Z, who I don't get why he's considered one of the greatest MCs of all time. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Because he sucks.
It's weird.
His first couple albums are really good, and I'm in the minority there.
Okay.
But I just. He makes a big it's turning into a Jay-Z pod. He talks about how he doesn't write.
Yeah, that's the myth.
It's like, well, maybe you should.
Yeah, right.
This is interesting. Just wanted to know if like it was like that for metal.
Yeah.
Because you've grown up on metal for the most part.
So like one of the most successful kind of underground metal style bands of the past decade or two, is this band called Asking Alexandria.
Okay.
Wildly successful.
Really? Never even heard of them.
So they're like a CYY style rock.
Metal's more popular around the world, huh?
Yeah.
So you can be wildly successful and not even really be known in America. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
But they are like the bane of my existence. I fucking hate them.
Yeah.
They're signed to my favorite record label, and every other band on this label is incredible.
Yeah.
And the only reason that the label keeps them on is because they make so much money they're able to fund all the other shit.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
Because all these other bands that are eating because of this band probably fucking hate them.
Yep.
Jeez.
I know, it's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hard to reconcile.
Yeah.
The only reason I can listen to the music from these other bands is because of your fucking music goes out there.
And it's just not good, huh?
Honestly, there are times when I like will go listen to like one of the singles from the album and I go, it's really fucking catchy.
But that's fine.
I know. I just can't let anybody find out.
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
All right. Well, we walked away from this episode. We both have a mission.
Yeah.
Both have a mission.
I've already got some thoughts brewing.
Yeah. I do too.
Yeah.
Get there.
Word.
All right, man.
Hey, like, rate, share, send it to your grandma, send it to your friends in Algeria.
Algeria, baby. Albania. Actually, I think we do have some in Algeria too. Our map is almost wiped.
I know, it's crazy.
Completely.
Yeah.
So thank you to everyone out there who listens to this. It's pretty nutty.
Right.
We're not a lot of views on the YouTube, but why would there be? It's just a fucking thumbnail.
Yeah.
But everywhere else, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, you guys are killing it.
Kicking it.
Killing it.
Great.
So yeah, just eventually we'll film ourselves.
You'll see our ugly mugs.
We might even live stream.
Yeah, who knows?
We could live stream these.
Hey, you want to see Dave? Go to the Banter Media, Bootcamp Media.
Yeah. Got some card breaks on there. Got some stock videos, which I don't know how much longer those are going to last.
Really?
Yeah. But yeah, some content on there. You can find us on Apple, Spotify. I'm just going to keep repeating myself until you end the show.
Hey, we're done, baby. Thanks for listening.
See you next
time.
Yep.